What about if someone is feeling shy, they don't have a lot of social confidence? How can someone overcome that? How can they develop more?
So I think that we talk often about how courage is a muscle, and it's not the answer that a lot of people want to get, but I think progressive exposure therapy is really is the way. And so again, in the course, we start very easy. If you're shy, you're probably biting your tongue often, not saying that you think, and you're probably mistaking that for, I don't have anything to say, nothing comes to mind. The truth is, the filter in your head is so high that nothing breaks through that as being worthy of being said. And so when we're talking to shy people, what we often tell them to do is say that you're in a situation with a taxi driver or someone else who's working for you, a waiter, a cashier, say one extra sentence, right? So the normal thing is that'll be $5.92. You give them your thing, but something is in your head. There's a magazine cover there. The weather is hot. They have a nice earring or something. Say one extra thing. And what we're trying to teach them to do is to lower that filter of what would be acceptable to say to someone. Now, there are people that have the reverse problem where they blabber on and on and on, and we need to teach them to be a bit more selective. But when you're shy, I think that's oftentimes the biggest problem, is that you think that the things that you have to say are such crap that you communicate that with every fiber of your being. And so once you're saying them, then we have to teach, okay, say it with your chest. Say it like you mean it. Don't trail off at the end of sentences. If you're in a group conversation, do not let someone cut you off until you hit a period. So if you're mid-conversation with someone and you're finishing your thought and they jump in, you have to get to the end of it like now. And then they can take over. So it's not about being a conversational bully. It's about learning to take up conversational space in a way that is assertive. So that's a very common thing that we see with shy people, is that they're reluctant to do that. But just a handful of models like those goes a long way. And all of a sudden they're like, they didn't cut me off a second time. They realized that I wasn't going to just disappear, and they feel very happy about it.
What about the tailing off at the end of sentences thing? That's definitely something that I notice people do if they're uncomfortable in a social situation or a little bit shy. How can people overcome that?
Well, the general rule is you have to finish it with the same decibel level that you started it with. You've got to find a way. And the way that we teach people is like, look, these are new habits. When you're learning them, they might not feel like you. It's going to feel uncomfortable. You're going to go, this charisma thing isn't for me. So just focus on one thing per day. Our videos are in part entertainment. They've got 5, 6 things. If you try to do that all, you are going to live in your head. We want you to be in the conversation, reacting, listening. But also, I do want you thinking of one thing that you're going to do differently that day. And so what we do in the course is we structure it differently so you have one thing for each day. But if you're a shy person and you're out there, the thing that you might think of for today is, if I'm in a group setting this evening, make sure that I finish any sentence before I yield the floor. And that's it. And then you could do whatever you want. You could be awkward with your body language. You could make crappy eye contact. You could say dumb things, but you just focus on that. And over time, you're stacking these habits on top of each other such that when you get 5, 6, 7, 8 of these together, you really do have a much more powerful personality.
Talk to me about the tension between needing to learn a skill in communication and needing to be sufficiently in the conversation to be able to flow through things, because you have this system 1, system 2 dynamic going on here, right? We need to be very deliberate. System 2, I'm thinking about it. Oh, fuck, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it so much that I realize I haven't moved my body for the last 3 minutes because I've been constantly thinking about finishing my sentences at the same fucking decibel level because of that Charlie guy.
Yeah. So Ed, this is a tension. And I have the ways that I hear people say to relieve it, just be yourself, I find do not actually lead to growth. They might lead to evolution over time as things go back. But if you want to deliberately grow, I think you have to deal with this tension. The way that we've done it is just by having one thing that you're focusing on per day. And it would be one small thing. And sometimes it's literally just a thing that occurs at the beginning of an interaction. Like, I'm going to say my answer to where are you from, like the one that I practiced and built, as opposed to the one that is reflexive. And so that's how we do it. So that there definitely is some time where I'm taking you out of the flow of conversation, and I recognize that. But I have not found a better way to learn a skill. I think it requires deliberate, I don't know if it's system 1 or 2, it requires that deliberate removing yourself from the flow of how things have always been a little bit for a period of time.
There's an awesome story about Tiger Woods when he was early in his career, and he realized that he had some, perversions in his swing. He had some inefficiencies, perversions. He had some
It's just
perversions
funny.
elsewhere as well. He had some perversions in his swing that was causing him to be less accurate and less consistent than he needed to be. And the decision was, look, if you want to be the best in the world, we need to rebuild your swing from scratch. And this meant that he had to take a bunch of steps back. He'd stopped being system one. He could have gone on being the perfectly adequate version of Tiger Woods for the rest of his career without having to do this. So he purposefully had to get worse before he could get better, because he was going to have to relearn all of the different things. And I kind of feel like there's an analogy to draw here between this and purposeful conversationalizing.
100%. And I don't know how Tiger went about that. And maybe there's a better way that I've yet to discover, but it's the way that I did it, because I was getting overwhelmed when I was trying to do everything. I remember just being like, okay, and you stand like this and you do this. And all of a sudden I could be in his social interaction and not have been there literally at all. I was just totally in the realm of thinking, planning, scheming in my head. And so that didn't work, which is why we went back to let's take one element of the swing at a time. Let's start with just doing what we do with a different grip. Let's worry about the hips. Now, and that was how over time I was able to still be in interaction, still be in my head a little bit, but building towards what wound up becoming a very different way after months and years of doing this, of being generally.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that repetitions of this is...
Oh gosh, yeah, and you nailed it. Yeah, I'm forgetting the most basic stuff, and I appreciate you bringing it up. It truly is just reps. The nice thing is that, you know how there's beginner gains in the gym? Because nobody focuses on this stuff, it comes so quickly. This is not like, it's easier than learning an instrument. It's easier than putting on muscle mass. And it's because it's like if you lived in a world where no one worked out, how quickly could you go to the gym before your body made you exceptional? Like, it wouldn't take very long. And that's the world that we live in with regards to charisma, is nobody's working on it.